Hi Susan, Anthony here. First of all, I want to thank you very much for doing the video. You did a really great job. I was very impressed. Very clear, concise. I want to say also that I love the chicken hat. It was great, very memorable. I also have an animal. I have a pet. I have a dog. This is my little Korean dog here, a little Korean mixed mutt, Darong. She's a little sweetheart. Yeah, you're a good puppy, right, Darong? Anyway, figured I'd show you my dog since I got to see your cat. Another point I want to make about the first point I want to make about the audio and video aspect of learning is that there's things you can do with the audio and video that you can't do or can't know without it. For example, I couldn't see your chicken hat and your dog, or your cat rather. Also, without the video and audio, I didn't even know how to pronounce your name correctly. I thought your name was Susan Ferdin. You pronounced it Ferdone in the video. So something else I learned. So all those things, there's a lot of things that you can do with audio and video that you can't do with text. We'll get on to that more later in this response. The first thing I'd like to respond to in your comments is your point about accessibility, in which you mention that you should only use multimedia if it adds meaning. Well, I question what the meaning of the word, or how you define meaning added. How is it defined? For example, I know for me, video and audio hold my interest more when I learn that way. Also, I find it to be more enjoyable, and overall it just gives me more motivation to learn. That's me. So there are people have multiple different ways of learning, and I know for me, accessibility includes audio and video, because for me that's an easier way to learn. I just learn better that way. When I have to read a lot of pages for an assignment, I don't mind, I'll do it, I can do it, but I feel I learn more when there's video and audio involved. So for me, accessibility includes audio and video. Without it, it's not as accessible. Anyway, I also think that you said that the audio and video or such things should be used only if meaning is added. If there's some kind of meaning added. Well, the old expression goes, a picture adds 1,000 words. So I think just having the picture, the image there, offers some kind of other information that wasn't available without it. So having video always does add information. Sometimes it's just fun. Sometimes it's just more interesting having video and audio. I think that that's something we have to be concerned with, is that when we try to make things accessible, we can't water things down. We can't remove the pleasure and enjoyment of life just to make things more accessible. We don't want to become too utilitarian, is my point. And I think that's a point that's made by a lot of accessibility proponents. For example, on the W3C website, W3C, C3, I can't remember, they make a point of saying how to make your website accessible, but they don't really tell you not to use things. For example, some of the points they make, quick tips, is for images and animations, use the Alt button, right, or Alt attribute. For image maps, use the client-side map. For multimedia, provide captioning and transcripts of audio. So they're not saying don't use those things. Their point really is just to make it accessible. Make it so that people who can't easily use those know it's there at least. So, if you're going to use a picture, at least give the information what the picture is about, or what it is, or what the point of it is. So I don't think they're saying don't use it, right? They're saying if you use it, make sure that the people can know it's there or what it's for. So, in your video you said that the hat, the chicken hat, the cat, the image of you doesn't add meaning, and therefore it should be gone. It should be not included. Well, I don't agree. I think that, first of all, that was the most memorable thing in your video. No offense, everything else was very useful and very well put together, but I will not forget the image of you with the chicken hat and the cat. I mean, that was very memorable. And I think there's something interesting about that you might, maybe related to the theory of connectivism that we've been studying a little bit this week. The idea of knowledge being a network of information, maybe also related to shared cognition or distributed cognition. To me, you're the node, you're the central point of the message. And by seeing you in the chicken hat, it kind of anchors the entire message that you were giving and gives it more meaning to me, because now you're a person with ideas and interests and beliefs, etc., that represents everything you were saying. So I think, at least for me anyway, it adds more meaning to your message and makes it more memorable. What else did I want to say? Oh yeah, for example, if I were to have a visually impaired student in my class, that would change the way I do my class. I think that your point about making accessibility decisions based on your specific audience's needs is an important one. For example, in one of my classes I have 8 students. They're all what you might consider normal people. They don't really have any specific special needs that I know of or that they've made me aware of. So I think there would be no point in that case of me adding text for every video, for me avoiding video, or for me not using music because I felt that it wasn't allowing one of them accessibility to that information. It would actually, in many ways, possibly be a waste of time. That'd be like me providing Braille editions of my book for those students when they don't require that. So I think your point about accessibility being considering your specific audience's needs, a very important point. Also in business world, I think you're right. In business, for example, if you were to have an office supply store, you could probably make a very fun, interesting website, put a lot of flash and animations and music and all sorts of fun things to do on there. But would that actually improve your customer's experience? Would that actually make them want to keep coming back to your website? Probably not. Business people are busy. They want to come in and order paper easily, quickly. They want to be able to navigate your website in a way that's going to use as little time as possible. They don't want to stay on your website. So I think it's a good point that you made about business. On the other hand, if I were MTV creating a website, I would want to do the opposite. I know my audience are probably young people who are probably tech savvy. I'm going to probably include a lot of video and audio in there. That's the whole point of the website. I want my customers to stay on the site and enjoy it. So in that case, if I just had text because I thought the audio and the video didn't add meaning to it, that would be silly because it's MTV. So the point I think that you make about accessibility and the audience being considered is one of your most important points that you make. So anyway, in closing, I just want to one time say again that I think the chicken hat was great, and I think it anchored your entire meaning, the entire thing that you had to say for me. It makes it more memorable. It makes it easier to even comprehend the ideas because I can relate them all to you. And I think that's an important point. I don't think that's something that should be left out in education. And I want to stress, I don't think we should water down things and remove creativity and the inclusion of color and audio and visual just because we want to make it accessible, particularly if the audience doesn't require that, our specific audience. Alright, well, thank you again, Susan, for replying to the video, and I look forward to any possible comments you or anyone else may have. Alright, thank you. Bye.